Wow, this is fantastic. All right, we are getting started. Hello, all newcomers. Welcome back, my fellow Eternians. As always, it is me, Emperor AP, and I am here to talk to you all about the sovereignty system. The prestige system, where we can have sovereignty licenses, citizenship licenses, and foreign dignitaries licenses. This is going to be developing and continuing to develop an economic system for Eternia and hopefully for a lot of the micronational community. We're wanting to make this something very, very inclusive for everybody and something that is accessible at all levels and all abilities. So a whole bunch of stuff. First off, federal, we have four people jumping in already with us. Federal Republics of Ohio, otherwise known as Fro, said, hey, how you doing, Fro? It's good to see you. Leanna Taylor, one of our citizens, jumped in with us, saying greetings, AP. Greetings to you, Leanna. I am so glad to see you in our stream. Pug said, hello, Pug. I don't think I have seen you in the stream before. It is good to have you here, and I want to let you know, if you don't know who we are a country. We are trying to make a country. We are the Empire of Eternia. We are trying our best to create and develop the systems necessary to make our country work and to be able to function as a collective group of individuals who are working to make a nation. So that's what we are doing tonight, is talking quite a bit about how that's going to work and about developing the system for that, the underlying system behind it. A number of things. Christoph Berg says, Salan. Hello, Christoph Berg. It's good to have you. Leanna said, greetings, Fro. Drew jumped in with us. Hey, Matt jumped in with us. Matt is one of our citizens as well. It is great to see Matt in. Drew is his brother. Drew is actively moving towards citizenship as well. I am so glad to see everybody spending time with us tonight. Matt, I have updates for you. Please, I sent you stuff on Discord, and I'm excited to be talking more and more about business licenses with you and getting stuff on our Imperial market for you. We are moving into the process of that with the prestige system, and now that we've launched it, that is a possibility. So I want to talk to you about how you want to move forward and kind of developing things, because it's going to be an in-depth process. If you really want to start putting things on the Imperial market, that will be possible very, very soon, but it is going to be something that we have to pin down well and establish with you, so that as others come along, you are the trailblazer for starting to make that happen. So Matt, I am excited to talk to you. Please hit me back up on Discord when you can, because I am excited to move forward with that. Leanna said, greetings, Pug. Queen said, Queen jumped in, saying, hello, AP, Leanna, and Roxy. Is Pug Roxy? I'm trying to figure out who Roxy is. Or is it Christoph that's Roxy? Fro said, sup. Matt said, hello. Leanna said, greetings, Pug. Queen said, and Pug, and Christoph and Drew. Wait, so then who's Roxy? I'm so interested. Queen said, and Matt. Matt said, I saw the aristocrat board, getting more notes soon, probably. I am so glad to hear that. I actually want to talk about how people are going to be able to spin notes in the future and trying to develop that. The biggest thing that's been difficult for us as of the moment is trying to make sure that we do everything properly, legally, and as far as tax setups for the United States, to make sure that we can have everybody trading and interacting properly in the system. So that's a big undertaking for us. That's something that we're actually going to need legal advice to finalize, but it's something that we are starting in very small steps to be able to build on our own in a way that is safe for everybody and that is legal for us to do practically. Matt said, Leanna said, greetings, Matt. Christoph said, salam, everyone. Matt said greetings. Pug said greetings. Pug, if you have any questions for us, please let us know as well. I know for somebody who is new to our community, this can be a lot. If you're interested in learning more about who we are and what we're doing, please check out our website at eternianempire.wixsite.com/the Imperial Market. That's where you can find a lot of information on us. And as well, you can, while you're there, get links to our Discord, where we hang out with people and connect with our community, give you guys the quickest updates possible. That's probably going to be the best place. As well, we have our Instagram, Twitter. If you want to become a citizen, we have our Patreon. That's something that you can learn more about, again, in our website. And applications to all sorts of things, from citizenships to alliances, and our prestige system are all on there. Queen said first like again. Thank you very much, Queen, for being the first like. Drew said, hello everyone hopping in. Hey, it is so cool to see everybody jumping in and hanging out with us tonight. I am feeling very hype about that. Matt said, ooh, Christoph Berg said second. Glad to hear about it, Chris. Matt said, sorry about the show delay, Emperor AP. We've been busy with IRL school. Oh, I completely understand that. I have been as well slacking on things because I've been busy with my school and trying to make sure that I can get the semester going right. We actually just finished midterm, so that was a big delay for me. But we actually just got some new equipment for the Empire of Eternity. I want to talk about all that, but it will come in due time. Leanna said, greetings, Drew and Ledger. Chris said, Salon Richard. Matt said, we'll do Emperor AP. Chris said, Christoph is Christoph. Who's Roxy, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Queen said, AP, could you play my temporary national anthem, Claire de Lune? I have actually heard that song. I don't think we can play that because it's not copyright free. The music that we play on here is copyright free and in fact is free for profit. So not only is it copyright free, but it's something that we can use specifically by the intended artist, Pink. If you guys haven't checked them out, I recommend you do. They make a whole bunch of cool free music on YouTube for people to write music to make creative endeavors with. So that's what we're doing. We're listening to Pink. And if we try to listen to anything else, there is like a copyright strike potential for that. So we're really lucky to have Pink playing music for us. And otherwise, we may not have any music on the streams at all. So as of right now, we can't play it live on the stream, but that is a good song. Matt says, happy St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day, Matt. Leanna said, message retracted. Queen said, I won't say who Roxy is unless they want to say themselves. Oh, that's fair. Chris says, happy St. Patty's Day. Queen says, indeed, happy St. Frickin' Patty's Day. I'm glad everybody's hanging out. I'm not wearing red, but I'm not getting pinched. I'm across a computer screen, so you guys are going to have to come get me. Chris said, we changed our anthem to I Vow to Thee, My Country. Interesting. Leanna said, Matt, I'm giving AP time to fill my orders before exchanging for more notes. Ooh. You don't know anything about music theory like that's completely fair. I would say that I absolutely do need to catch up on some orders, and that's going to be something that's happening very quickly. We've already sent out some stuff to Matt, as well as to you, Leanna. So feel excited for more notes, but that's part of the reason why I want people to be able to start using these notes more effectively to purchase other items, both on our Imperial market as well as in other places. And to be able to exchange with each other. That's why we're creating the prestige system, because at a certain point, collecting notes is a fantastic way to support our economy and to help make sure that we get land. But at the same time, we want you guys to be able to exchange those notes, that investment you've made in the imperial economy, in our imperial notes, to be able to be used for gaining things of value that you want. You know, if you've invested a lot of time and money into the purchase of our notes, you should be able to buy things from our store with those notes. You should be able to use those in many different fashions, and that's something that's really difficult for micronations to actually achieve. You can purchase any micronation's currency so long as they sell it to you, but it's another thing to have that currency actually be more than just a token item, something to be effectively used. And so that's what we are trying to establish. That's the next big push for us, and that is all coming through this prestige system that we are creating. There's going to be more about that very quickly, as far as how we are planning to delve into that and what the best initial way to do that is. But for right now, I don't want to give away too much because, again, it's not completely finalized. The prestige system is finalized, and we're moving forward with slowly activating and upgrading levels of that. We've already just gotten our first few sovereignty applications. If you don't know about that, you can, once we get everything fully set up and fully launched, you will be able to view, you'll be able to apply for a free limited sovereignty license for our prestige system. On our website here, you can actually go to our home page. Let me see if I can bring that in for you guys here. Okay, let me see if I can set this up. Give me just 1 second, everybody, to throw these things together so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. So we are on our website here. This is eternianempire.wixsite.com/imperial market. You can go here, you can go to our menu tab in the upper right hand corner, go over to more, go down to the Imperial Market. That is where we're doing the prestige system. That's where we're doing all our trading, all our interaction. Of course, you can buy our Imperial notes. You can buy the Unity medal, which shows unity and connection to all micronations and their strive for independence. And as well, you can purchase the Owl's Mark, which is something that specifically shows your support for us moving forward with our own land purchase, which we need quite a bit of money to get. We're looking at around $10,000 right now, but that is something we are slowly making our way toward. I want to come out soon with some updates for you guys as far as how the economy is doing, but right now I want to make sure we finish getting out orders and doing the things we need to be able to give a solid update to you guys. As of right now, the prestige system is the big thing we're doing. And the prestige system is going to be the next advancement of that Imperial Market in a leaps and bounds way, in a very large way that allows for interaction with our community, and that hopefully will be something that benefits us and benefits our economy in many ways, but has potential for you to come in with 100% free, come into the system 100% free and never have to pay a dime if you don't want to, and yet still receive Imperial notes and still be able to work in this. And that is through a sovereignty license. A sovereignty license just says, hi, I'm a skilled worker. Here is my skill. This is what I have to offer to people who are looking to pay me for that skill. Then there are people in our prestige system who, whether they are other micronations, whether they are other people who run businesses, no matter who they are, these will be people who have an upgraded either sovereignty license, citizenship license, or foreign dignitary license, who can actually create quests for you all to achieve and fulfill. These quests will have a note value associated with them that once you complete them for a nation, that nation will provide that for you for whoever has completed that quest for them and has accepted it for them. So we want to get all of that fully finalized and open those quests up for people. The first initial quests are going to be just from the Empire of Eternia to make sure that we can positively interact and transact with all of our sovereigns. So we will be putting out a first few test quests where we will be just giving out notes. It won't be for free, of course. You will have to do a task for that and provide something of value that we ask for. But if that is based around your talent, that'll be fantastic. We already have someone who has applied as a graphic designer, and that's something that's very cool for us because graphic design is widely needed in the micronational community, and that's what we're trying to provide, is an ability for people to make notes and use those notes to advance themselves in their micronation. This sovereignty application, let me go back and show you guys. This sovereignty application is 100% free. You can apply for a sovereignty license and get a free digital sovereignty license that will be limited. The limited part of it just means that you will be able to apply for quests and take on quests and make Imperial notes, but you will not be able to actually create quests yourself and pay other people Imperial notes to get those quests done. Those quests, if you're wondering, so like I said, if you want to learn more about the prestige system, you can actually click on the prestige system button right here in our Imperial Market page on our website. And as you can see, here is the defining document for the prestige system in its current version, its first version. And as well, once you click the sovereignty license application, if you want to sign up for a limited sovereignty license, you can go here. You can apply with your name, your email address, your preferred area of interest, which is defined in the document that we talked about, your specific skill that you would like to do, and then whether or not that skill requires any specific tools, and if you have those tools. That's it. If you can define your skill for us, what we're going to do is respond to you, try and prove and officiate that you are capable of doing that skill by just asking you to complete a simple task for us. Hey, if you're an artist, draw us a picture. Send us that picture, and we will give you a prestige on your sovereignty license, the prestige system, and your and connecting these licenses to that. We will give you a prestige that says, not a prestige, excuse me. We will give you a skill on that license. That skill will say, hey, this person is an artist level 1. That means that, not even an artist, specifically an artist with respect to drawing, or an artist with respect to graphic design. And that will detail exactly what you can do and how you can do that. So whenever somebody wants you to work on a quest, that'll be the way that they go about that. This is a way, hopefully, that people can start to make money for their nation or start to make money for themselves completely free. The only thing that we would ask is that you do due diligence with that. Micronational currencies, if they are used as actual trading transactable currencies that can buy things and sell things, they are based inherently in something called a complementary currency, which is basically just any currency that's not the standardized currency of the macronation that you're in. And the big deal about that for us is that these currencies, these complementary currencies, as other people call them, for us, these micronational currencies, are a big deal because that's the roadmap for how we can create these currency systems and move forward with value creation. But complementary currencies, micronational currencies, if traded and if used as currencies, are considered taxable income by the US government and by many governments around the world. So if you are interested in starting to earn, say, imperial notes through our sovereignty system, one of the first things that we do is, after you fill out your sovereignty license application, we send you an email asking you about verification of the skills that you've entered, and as well, we try to explain to you, and we send you an email that defines for you basically, hey, this system, once we get it started for you to be able to actively take on quests, will be something that as you earn imperial notes, you will need to know is considered income for you. So you need to, if you are not 18, get with a parent and guardian and have them walk through this entire process with you and make sure that you are able to pay proper taxes on any income you do generate in accordance with the law, local law, state law, federal law for you. So it's running a business. It's actually doing your own work, making your own money that can be traded for real valuable items and US currency. So that being the case, this is a system that really defines value for us and really tries to make a widely used and acceptable currency. But it does require people to be able to put in that extra effort and to follow the law. So as we continue forward with the system, there's going to be more and more information about that. We're not going to leave you guys hanging on any detail about that before we get this system started to where anybody is transacting with each other other than the Empire of Eternia to somebody. We are not going to want to take any risk with that, and we're going to have everything laid out. We're going to have terms and conditions for this thing. We're going to do it through a lawyer as best we can. So that's the move forward as of right now. We are trying to make sure that this gets on the ground running and has a successful future for us, but also for the micronational community. This should be something that I wanted when I came into the micronational community, a way to say, hey, I don't have any money for my micronation. I have no way to start generating money, and it sucks. I want to today start to be able to work for somebody and start to earn money in these micronational currencies and spend them. And be able to increase the value of my economy based on the skills I have. So this is a way to do that, and we're going to continue to talk about that. Now, who can apply for a sovereignty license? Anyone can apply for a limited sovereignty license. Anyone, so long as they have, if they're under 18, they have parental supervision and guidance through that process, and that their parents understand what they're doing. And as well, anyone over the age of 18 as well. Citizens of the Empire of Eternia, citizens of other micronations, people who aren't citizens of either. These are all things that are accessible. These are all people who have access to the sovereignty license. Real quick, I'm going to go through some comments. Everybody's talking about Happy St. Patrick's Day. Matt said, great, so I can get the lead to 100 notes. Y'all are trying to race to 100 notes. I see y'all. Also, again, I haven't forgot about the auctions. We're going to be doing auctions very soon, but I want those auctions to be based around imperial notes. So this is all going to be like a boom, very quick release setup where we allow people to start trading these imperial notes, and we move that into this slow iteration of first having these having these auctions where we sell a particular item for a certain amount of imperial notes, that means we have to consider that taxable income. So we have to write that down and define that for ourselves, and then record that, and then being able to open up quests for the imperial market so that we can start to send out quests to you all and explain that system, make sure people are working properly within it before we open it up for other people to be able to release those quests. So this is a step-by-step system that we're slowly working out and getting into testable, proven ground. And hopefully that will provide some extra trust in it and some extra support for it. Christophberg Ledger said, St. Patrick's Day is about St. Patrick bringing Christianity to the pagan Irish, so don't use it as an excuse to get stupid drunk. But if you want to, do it. That was very interesting. Leanna said, if you so choose. Queen said, that's a perfect excuse, though. Ain't the blood of Christ wine? This is an interesting conversation y'all are having. Matt says, I think Pug is Roxy. That's fair. I would also imagine. Christoph said, drink but don't get drunk. It's Lent, so you aren't supposed to drink anyway if you're Catholic. Well, but you can also, choose other things to give up for Lent. Pug says, I don't think my name is Roxy. Oh, interesting. So who actually is, though? Chris said, LOL. Queen said, I've looked it up and Claire de Lune is public domain. Oh, awesome. Okay. Then yeah, we probably could play that. Matt says, much pinch Emperor AP. Also, I got the rings. They are so good. OMG. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope you and Drew are enjoying them. That's a big deal to me. If you can, create a small video and just be like, we got our things. Here they are. Oh, they're cool. Because we can show that off on our social media. We can make like a composite video of like the more stuff people send us, even if it's just little clips, we can make composite videos of like user submitted content. And that helps us out because it means that we get to show support for the things we're doing. We get to show people who really have imperial notes and are really starting to save them up and be able to use them in our economy. We are going to be able to show that the people who are early investors in this are also the ones who make the biggest successes and have the biggest interaction and impact in this community. So if you have these rings, the owl's marks, show off your owl's marks and send us some support with that. So I appreciate it, and I hope you guys can show them off. I'm excited. Chris said, based. Queen said, I don't care about Lynch, though I already failed. Aw. Chris said, same. Queen said, AP really said he ain't wearing red. You're supposed to be wearing green, not red anyways. Sorry, I'm not wearing green, I'm wearing red. My bad. Chris said, but you're supposed to try. Queen says, I know, I'm ashamed of myself. King Andrew Carter said, good afternoon. Good afternoon, King Andrew Carter. Leanna said, to me, every holiday is just another day. I don't even celebrate my own birthday anymore. Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. We should celebrate your birthday, Leanna. Also, I know you said, I think you were one of the people who said it was all around the same time. There were a whole bunch of people in February who were like, my birthday's in February, and we wanted to do a special day for that. So we may, as a nation, end up celebrating your birthday, Leanna. As well, we have to celebrate Eternian holidays. We're going to start doing that and making that an important part of this channel and our community as a whole, both on and off of YouTube. So if you are interested in talking to us about concepts for holidays, Leanna, what would be an important enough holiday for you to warrant your celebration of it? What would be something that you feel like is important for people to think about and remember throughout the year that we may be able to turn into a holiday? Queen said, make sure to use the one that says royalty free, just in case when it comes to Claire de Lune. I don't really care to celebrate my birthday anymore either. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Queen. You should. You absolutely should. Matt said, that's kind of sad, Richard, but I do see why. Queen said, but I did celebrate it this year with my boyfriend. Congratulations, Queen. Chris said, at Leanna, unless it's a church holiday, I agree. I don't celebrate my birthday either, but it's a national holiday and begone. Oh, that's awesome. So then you should celebrate it, right? If it's a big part of your nation. Queen said, he made me a really professional cake. It was so cute. That's awesome. That's super awesome. I would love to see, well, I don't know if you have pictures of it, but if you do, that'd be really cool. Matt said, watch time. Ooh, that's a great question. I actually do need to check on watch time. Chris said, I do graphic design. Hey, there you go. So then you can apply for our sovereignty license. 100% free. Go on our website, fill it out, and we will also get you set up on the graphic design route for us. Leanna said, honestly, I don't know if I'll celebrate any of the Eternian holidays either. It's a public gathering holiday. I know I won't. Large gatherings of people make me extremely uncomfortable. I'm sorry to hear that, Leanna. I would be interested to see if there was some way we could do a ceremonial holiday that didn't necessarily involve large gatherings. That'd be curious. Also, I would miss you. If we did large public gatherings in Eternia and you were in Eternia, I would miss you so much. I would understand and I would be accepting of it. You can definitely pass on a celebration if you want. That's acceptable. But I would miss you. I would want to come and stop by your domicile after the celebration or before the celebration. And if you would care to, have a little one-on-one celebration and just be like, hey, I hope you're doing well. I care about you. Because it's important, you know what I mean? To just show people that it's all about connection, you know, whether you're doing it with 1,000 people or whether you're doing it with one person. It's just about showing that you have support for similar ideas and are connecting at certain points in your life. We have a limited amount of time on this earth, so it's nice to be able to share a moment with someone where you just both identify with something. And that's what I think is so beautiful about micronationalism and about our channel in particular. King Andrew Carter said, good afternoon, Richard Taylor, and how are you today? Queen said, Leanna, would you be comfortable with a small gathering? Absolutely. Matt says, yo, we should get other micronations in our Discord to use Imperial notes so they gain a ton of value. That's the idea behind these sovereignties. I keep saying sovereignty system because the sovereignty license is so important in this. The prestige system, that's the whole point of the prestige system, is to get other nations involved. We already have, oh goodness, it's the Empire of Whitewind already uses the Imperial note as their official currency. So we already have one nation on board, one down, millions to go. We are on our way, and I hope it's not only something that we're actively trying to pursue other micronations to become a part of, but that it just becomes valuable enough that other micronations are drawn to supporting it and want to use it in some form or fashion. We are making the entire prestige system based around the Imperial note, so the use of the Imperial note and access to the prestige system should go hand in hand, and hopefully that will help its progress. Christoph said, but as King of Begon, I will participate in our holidays. Fantastic. Leanna said, I'm doing better today. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, Andrew? Chris said, Eternia and Begon trade notes and marks win. And then said, I am the law, bud. Interesting. I'm not sure. I would have no idea how to go about that. And I would be curious to learn more. Leanna said, Queen, I'm okay in groups of 10 or less. Anything over that and I go full paranoid self-preservation mode with a side of I'm ready to leave now, that's fair. I'll say it depends on the circumstance for me. I've done gatherings myself that have been large, and as long as I feel like I'm kind of the one that's like, you know, organizing things and setting things up, a lot of the time I just play host, so I'm just jumping around to different people I know and trying to talk to them and make sure everybody's having a good time. If I have to show up to someone else's large group gathering, I do get a little weird, like especially if I don't have a group there or something. Like if I don't have a small, like 1 or 2 people that I can kind of cling to, it is weird because I'm not, I'm kind of a social butterfly, but I'm not really like if it's a strange group of people and I don't really know anybody, if it's like a professional thing or something, where I have to just show up and like meet people and shake hands and stuff, it's very interesting for me because I'm either chilling back from everyone else and just kind of watching things go down, or I'm like steadily trying to move to make like a single friend. And then I'm like, if I can make that one good connection, I just latch to that person and then kind of shift from groups and hope that person knows someone else and kind of chain my way through the event like that. Chris said, yeah, also, I hope you were doing well today, Leanna. I saw your message on there saying that you're doing better today, and that's good. I was thinking about you, and I'm sorry to hear that yesterday was rougher for you, or maybe not yesterday, but the other day. And hopefully yesterday wasn't too rough for you. Chris said, yeah, if it's with family, I don't like it. Matt said, am I Roxy? Also 1.15K. Yes, absolutely. 1.15K. We are moving forward and we're getting close on that watch time too. We're getting close to 2,800, which will get us to 3,000 close. And that's 3/4 of the way to our mark for monetization. So you guys watching the stream and helping us out actively moves us toward that. And I'm tripping about it. I can't wait. Queen said that makes sense. In the same way, I'm the same way sometimes. I also extremely noise sensitive, so I have to cover my ears in the cafeteria sometimes. Sorry to hear about that, Queen. It would be very cool if we could meet up sometime, though. You seem like an interesting person. Chris said, oop, up, and then said Microcon win. Microcon for us, I guess the next time they have one, but they've pushed it back because of coronavirus and quarantine a couple times. We hope to do our own similar like Microcon type events, but specifically for the Empire of Eternia reaching out to other nations. And once we get a little bit more revenue, we plan to do that in between now and land. So there's going to be some point where we have enough money, hopefully during a summer, either this coming summer, maybe next summer, where we just have a little bit of time and a little bit of money to go somewhere and say, we're setting up, we're doing this. Even if one person comes, we will make sure that we have something set up for them and that we will record it and hang out and talk. Leanna said, I'm down for that, Queen. You seem like an interesting person as well. Queen said, thanks. Ibrahim Adrada, Adiarda said, hello, I am not new member. I just changed my name to United Family to Ibrahim Adiarta. How are you, Ibrahim? It's good to have you as a part of our stream. I knew you as United Family, and I'm glad to have you. I hope you're doing well today, and I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed with that account, subscribing means a lot to us. And as well, please remember to like the stream, everybody. It helps people to advertise it. Multiple things. Chris said, everyone in the chat is interesting. Everyone in the chat is really interesting. Queen said, indeed. Matt said, one down, 157,285 to go. Is that all the micro? That's insane. Ibrahim says, I say hello. Hello, Ibrahim. We're gonna stop getting these. I'm gonna stop getting these ads for y'all and try and fix that real quick. Nobody likes a buggy ad. Matt said, hello. Queen said, I just sent an application for the micronational map. I'm excited to read it, Queen, and I am excited to see what develops from your connection to our map. We have maybe even 70, over 70. We have either 70 or 80 nations on our map right now, and we're moving close to that 100 mark. So as we continue forward, I want us to have hundreds of nations on this map. I want it to span the globe. I want people to know what their micronational communities look like and have relatively easy access to each other. Shweta Seth said, big fan. What new plan to go to war? I'm glad you're a big fan, Shweta. We actually don't do micronational war at all. We have a famous video, we have one of our more successful videos called Why War is Stupid, and we talk about that. So we're not interested in war, not at all actually. But that's an interesting topic to discuss either about that video or in the future if you have already watched it. Chris says, Begonic Reichsmarks are tied to the USD, so are notes, I think, so it would go well if that was to happen. Agreed. I would have to see how that one works out. Chris says, a trade that is, and same AP, someone disliked. I'm sorry to hear that they disliked. But the good news is, the rest of us like it, so if there's one salty spittoon in the bunch, that's perfectly fine. Matt says, very sadly, I gotta go IRL school tomorrow, and it's 12:50 something, so I must go to sleep and leave the stream. Goodbye. See you, Matt. We appreciate you hanging out, and I can't wait to talk more about development in the future. I'm so glad you enjoyed your rings, and you and Drew, I will see you soon. Chris says, night, Salnit, that's interesting. Leanna said, greetings, Ibrahim. Leanna said, greetings, Seth, and Leanna said, good night, Matt. Absolutely, good night, everybody. Not everybody. Good night, Matt. Good night, Drew. And greetings to Seth and Ibrahim. Queen said, when I finally get my micronation in full gear and have land and a city for it, I want to wait to unveil it on a very dark night so it'd be hard to see in the background and throw a festival. That'll be really cool. Just see like in the middle of a big field or something, just dong, and like big lights and like big what are the movie lights, you know what I'm talking about, the skylights that they project, and just have them like with your nation's symbol and stuff. That'd be super cool. Chris said based. Queen said in concert at the end of it, all flip on the power to the city so that it lights up to reveal it. That's very cool. Agreed. I'm excited to hear more about it. And tonight, the big talking point that I'm trying to get to and that I'm trying to develop is just to discuss what it means for us as micronations to have these different currencies and to be trying to move toward those things. So what's really interesting, Chris, is you said that the Reichsmarks are tied to the USD and so are notes, so it would go well to trade those two. I would be particularly interested in seeing how well imperial notes and their usage in the prestige system would go in Christophsburg, or excuse me, not in Christophsburg, in Begon. I would be very interested because I know that for us, the entire idea is to try to make the Eternian note a connection point between these other nations. So you having your currency tied to the USD is already a fantastic start to that. And I think that our connection, having the note tied to the rest of our market, is quite interesting. I think at a certain point we are hoping to get stockpiles of other nations' currencies, but exchange rate is a really hard thing. So knowing that yours is already tied to USD makes it that much more easy. And I hope that you will consider having Begon connect to our prestige system and really implement that, because it's hopefully something that will be designed to allow your nation, as soon as you get started into it, and all your citizens as soon as they get started into it, to be able to work economically in a larger marketplace, to be able to fulfill the needs of other micronationalists, and to have your nation's needs met by people who may have different skills than what your citizens currently do. So it's really designed as a system to help, and it's designed as a system to allow for the market, in a way, to do its job and to allow people to fill the need that is available. The Queen said, "Yo, AP reading my mind." Exactly, I got you, Queen. I know what you're on. Chris said, "If anyone is wondering, Salen is a universal Begonic greeting. Literally translates to good one, but we use it for hello and goodbye. Salnit means good night." That's very cool. Leanna said, "Sounds like a pretty serious party to me, Queen." Queen said, "Yeah." Queen said, "In my nation, we just bonk people in the head to greet them." That's interesting. You just slap them, slap them up. That would, I could see that going well or very bad depending on who you bonk. Chris said, "Christophsburg Ledger is the cap." I would be skeptical of doing that to other national leaders, because depending on the cultures and stuff, it could be offensive. I don't know. I would be curious to see how that would go. Would you just for other nations, do you generally divert to their greeting, or do you just bonk? Or is it specifically a thing where you know your citizens are comfortable with the bonks, so you do the bonks to your citizens, but not to other leaders? Very interesting setup. Chris said, "Christophsburg is the capital of Begon, which is sandwiched between North and South Carolina." Very cool. It's sandwiched right on the line? That's impressive. Queen says, "Greet." Queen says, "My English is crap when I'm sleepy." Chris said, "I didn't even notice. Insane." Queen said, "I always notice." Well, I'm glad that you notice. It's always good to be working on your grammar and trying to make sure that people get what you're meaning. Leanna said, "Don't bonk me. I bonk back really hard." Leanna was like, don't do it. Don't bonk me. Don't see. And this is the thing that's interesting. How do you deal with the difference in culture? Chris said, "Well, I'm sleepy. LMAO, mood, Leanna." Ibrahim said, "Empire of Eternia, you know nation states net is a game. Can you play the nation states net if you don't want to is okay?" So I have seen nation states. I have mixed feelings about it. I feel like it's interesting, but it is just kind of like a resource gathering game. And it's fun for simulation, but I feel like as of the moment, Eternia has been doing so much and working so hard to do similar things in the real world that we've just been focused on that. So I may play it in the future, but I think what I do is probably a tutorial on like, this is how you set up your nation states thing, and this is how that works. But I just have to find the time. I don't think I'm gonna do it this stream though, because a lot of the time when I get on these streams, people will ask me like, play AI Dungeon or play like this game or play Minecraft or whatever. And I do want to do those things, but a lot of the time I'm just getting information out now and just trying to describe what we're doing. So there's a lot between streaming and doing something just privately in the Empire of Eternia and trying to get things done behind the scenes, and then trying to make like edited videos. It all becomes quite a lot when doing it all together and when trying to get it to work simplistically. So hopefully we will be getting out more like gaming type streams and stuff like that, but I am curious. Queen says, oh, the harder you bonk someone, the more you like them. Thanks for liking me so much. Oh goodness. Leanna said, what do you mean by mood? Christoph said, I could see, Leanna, I think by mood, and they may have already answered this in the chat because I'm not all the way at the bottom of the chat, but I think mood is like I agree. Like we share the same mood. We share the same feeling on that. I think it comes from the phrase, that's a mood, meaning just like the slang phrase, that's a mood, just meaning like, I agree with that. Like that's a way that I feel sometimes. And I think it's to show connection to the idea. Yep, Christoph immediately answered it. Chris said, I could see Marionette's Nation as the punch monkeys from the Croods too. Interesting. Queen said, AP, the bonk was a joke. Chris said, it's a modern slang for related. Wait, so it is a joke? So then what's your actual greeting? Queen says, never seen that movie, but LMAO. I also haven't seen the punch monkeys, but that's interesting. Chris said, we are on the line, directly split. DeCarolina bar is what we call the state line. That's cool. Greenest Dan said, hello, Emperor AP. I happen to see your live streaming site. Stop by for a minute. Man, offer you solution to create free power? Sure. That was a lot, but yes. I would love to hear that. Chris said, Marionette, can I send you a video on Discord of the monkeys? Leanna said, greetings, Greenistan. Greenistan said, greetings. And so Queen said, yeah, sure, thanks for asking for permission. I'll probably see it after the stream, though. That's fair. I know that's one of the things that always gets me about Discord is after everything happens and after all the stream has gone through, then I go back and check Discord. And a lot of time it'll be something that related specifically to the stream. Somebody will be like, oh, here's the link to this thing I wanted you to look at on stream. I'll be like, oh, well, the stream's over, but thank you. I guess I'll watch it at some point. But it does get to me that sometimes I don't see those things. Sometimes when I do see those things, it's something where I just don't want to get to it right away on stream. But I generally try to respond. I'm gonna say I don't ever like not respond, but I'm sure there's somebody who would be able to catch me and be like, well, Queen caught me for a while. Because I was just being bad about responding to Queen on Instagram, but that's the thing. Is sometimes I'm late on them, but I always try to respond to everybody that I can. And a lot of the time, you guys have really cool content to share with me, just things that I didn't know about that are out in the world, and a lot of them are like cool resources. So I appreciate you guys, and I just want you to know if I don't like get to something on stream, it's not that I'm not like hype about it, because generally I am. I'll be really excited to see what's up.
This is my first time ever.
No, we're not adding. We're not adding right now. We are subtracting. We're skipping that ad. And then I'm gonna unmute this so we got more cool background music. And we're gonna talk for a little bit. Ooh, hold up. Leanna said, you'll have to remember that I was bullied growing up. Anything that I perceive as harmful to me usually has a very physical response. I'm sorry to hear about that, Leanna. But it's good that you do let people know, because I think that's really important in like communication. It's just making sure people understand your boundaries and what you're comfortable with. Greenistan said, okay, I will send you the calculations in chat. Should I mention it uses a gutter system to filter water into hydroelectric power? I think I've already seen the video you're talking about. Yeah, it's the guy who made the same wind turbine thing on his car. Yeah, I've seen that. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep, that's just, any generation. You can also do the same thing with wind. You hook up something that'll spin a motor. Yeah, I'm familiar. Queen said, I'm the same way. I flinch whenever someone raises their hand for a high five. I'm sorry, Leanna, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's a very difficult situation to be in. Chris said, I used to be quite physical, sadly, but I usually pour it out on my prayer journal or in poems. That's good. That's like a good, healthy way to get rid of that, actually. I know a lot of time when I'm very stressed, I will write music, or I'll write a little story or something, and that helps me. I don't post a ton to the Winslow channel, but Winslow being my rap channel does help me to express some of my feelings sometimes. So and just talk about things that have happened to me in the past. So some of it's a little bit cryptic, some of it doesn't always describe exactly definitionally what I'm talking about, but it helps me and it helps to, I think, kind of create an insight into certain situations that have happened in my life. Chris said same. Melungan said good morning. Good morning, Melungan. Chris said, but flinching is because of an unfortunate incident within my household, not because of bullying. I'm sorry to hear that, Chris. Melungan said, thanks for adding me to your map. Of course, we are excited to have you as a part of our map. And as well, we are about to add Queens Nation to our map as well. So when we add Perpetua to our map, we will be hopefully being able to connect more micronations. Maybe you guys are near each other and you never knew it. Leanna said, I can still get physical, I just have better control of my reactions. That's completely fair. And I'm glad to hear about that. Chris said, Chris said Richard is Leanna now. I actually have clarification on that. That's my bad. Leanna, from what I understand, has always been Leanna, or at least her preference is to go by Leanna, and Leanna is trans. So that's something that is important for us to recognize and for us to respect about Leanna. She has addressed that with me. And I didn't realize initially, so I had always said Richard because that's what I saw on the tag. But actually, her citizenship license in the Empire of Eternia says Leanna, so she is to us Leanna, and we care about her very much. So if saying Leanna, I think would be much appreciated. Chris said, "I'm glad you've got better control now, Leanna." Melungan said, I use meditation. Chris said, I'm Catholic, so I don't meditate. That's interesting. You still can. Like, I don't think Catholicism defines specifically, prayer to be one thing. So you could definitely speak to God by, falling on your knees and putting your hands together like this and thinking, by, reciting a formal Catholic prayer, by reciting a Jewish prayer. You could do it by reciting a Muslim prayer. You could do it by, bowing to the east. You could, it's really interesting. There isn't one right or wrong way to talk to whatever your ascribed deity is. So there's absolutely meditation. And also meditation doesn't have to be to talk to, it has to be religious. You can be Catholic and meditate just to calm your mind. You could be like, this has nothing to do with religion. I just also like to meditate. You could be like, this is the way I pray, this is the way I meditate. And it'd just be two different things entirely. And that's perfectly fine. So if you're ever in need of a stress reliever or something like that, meditation is a great therapeutic way for just calming your mind and kind of having a moment to yourself. And I think that's what a lot of people use it for. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get the stream to come up. Okay, so our window capture that just goofed, that's what it is. Sometimes, for whatever reason, our stream will just completely goof, and then we have to throw it back in. There we go. Okay, so Queen said, in my nation, for informal, we'd use a typical handshake or whatever. For formal, we usually have a bow, and if I have a saber on me, I will unsheath it and point it backwards as a sign of neutrality. Interesting. That seems like it could be dangerous to you, but that's very cool. Queen says, and we use curtsies for women. Sometimes I do that as well because I like being feminine. That's perfectly fair. Chris said, oh, I've been confused about who Leanna is. Yeah, absolutely. Greenistan says, yep, length times width times height times C times B times A equals, or C times B times A equals total volume. C times B times D equals filled volume. The length is 20 feet, the width 1 foot, height. Yeah, that's specifically their container that they're measuring. Chris said, oh dear, AP. Leanna said, I don't meditate or pray. I take a deep breath, grunt under my breath, suck it up, and move on. That's also a way to do that. You know, that's a really interesting thing about life. I think meditation in a lot of ways can be like a thing that means different things to different people. I would say potentially people could even like consider that meditation. You know what I mean? Depending on who you talk to, someone could say, you stop, you take a deep breath in, you grunt under your breath, and that's your mantra. That's your that's your meditation right there. It's just one singular moment of and then you move on. That's your break, that's your pause, that's your meditation. That's interesting, but it is interesting to hear that certain people call one thing meditation and another thing. Some people have religious context to it. Some people have, you know, it's really interesting. Chris said, I could never, most of the time, same, Leanna. Queen says, and if I met with you or another leader publicly, I'd be wearing masculine clothes, but if meeting in private, I'd probably be wearing something feminine, like a skirt and stuff, if I'm in that type of mood. That's completely fair. Chris said, but praying does help when I want to be heard. Absolutely. Queen says, I like to shoot when I'm upset. That's a perfectly good stress reliever as well. That one I think might be harder to argue as meditation, but you know, potentially your mantra is, you know, I don't know. Queen says, or just destroy something. That's my kind of meditation. Hey, again, completely fair. Queen says, no, not schools, LOL. Oh, Christoph says schools. I got the joke now. Green Stan says, do you want some more math, AP? No, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm very familiar with how, you know, hydroelectric power is generated. It's just the turning of a motor. You know, the faster you can get your motor to turn, depending on what its wattage is, you can output, depending on what its, oh gosh, there's a conversion ratio based on the amount of torque that the engine has, the motor has, and then the wattage that it will produce, either in a forward direction, applying current to it and getting out some rotation, some RPM, some horsepower to that, or vice versa, inputting some energy into that and getting out some work into that and getting out a current. So there are plenty of ways, there are plenty of free calculators online to do stuff like that as well, but that's all very dependent on your setup and the motor that you have. So that's something that I think I have a clear understanding of, and I appreciate it. But if you do want to share the that information with other people, it's always helpful. I'm sure there's somebody who could certainly use it. Leanna said, other than my fellow Eternians, I don't have a support system to help me with my mental health issues, which is usually why I take deep breaths. That's completely fair. I am sorry that you don't have a larger support system, and I certainly hope that becomes available to you soon. I think dealing with mental health problems on your own is rough, because, you know, no matter whether you have a defined difficulties with mental health, or whether you are just somebody who is dealing with everyday struggles, we all have things that we need to de-stress about. We all have things that we need to be able to explain to someone and to feel heard and to feel recognized in. So Christoph said, they pray when they want to be heard, and that was something that really resonated with me, because I know that there are tons of things that people do just because they want to be heard, want to feel understood. So I completely understand that, Leanna, and I hope that we can continue to provide that for you, but as well, I hope that that in your personal life increases as well, that you just have more of a support network that comes and is a part of your life. And I hope that as we continue to grow in the future, that we can help to provide more support for that, both internal and external to Eternia, because you deserve it, and I feel like everybody deserves it. So I think that's a big part of what I would like to help provide for our citizenry eventually. But don't rely on us. Seek it out yourself. I know it's important, and it's hard to get. It is. There are plenty of places where access to free mental health care, mental health facilities, and resources are just scarce. So absolutely, I would say try your best. Everyone try your best to look into stuff like that. We've talked about the benefits of therapy on this channel in the past, and ultimately, I hope we can continue to promote that. Chris said, I had a therapist for a while before my mom took me out, so I learned some strategies before we parted ways. Absolutely. Chris said, but I've developed those according to my needs, so it works. Absolutely. And that's 100% what therapy is, like tailoring to your own way of living and thinking, and making life less stressful for you. And not necessarily less stressful, making life something that feels easier to handle day to day. There will always be big things that throw you off your horse, but it's about finding those strategies to get back on the horse and to feel okay that are big in that, I think. And so I am super, super happy that we have such a supportive community in that sense. Greenistan said, but having too much voltage can cause the circuit to short circuit, and that would cause the entire plant and project to fail. If you're running, if you are turning work from a motor, if I take a motor and I turn it, no matter how fast I turn it, I will never over voltage the motor, because the motor's voltage is based on the amount of windings of whatever wire, coil, copper, steel, whatever it is that you're using. Copper is generally the standard. That generates a specific magnetic flux based on a magnetic system inside it interacting with that coil that says that changing magnetic field within a coil produces a voltage. You can never overvolt or overcurrent overvolt. You can never overvolt a motor by turning its I want to say axle, but that's not the right word. It's you know what I'm talking about. The part that turns on the motor. You can't overvolt it by doing that. You can overcurrent it. You can overheat your motor, and that it can be something that's dangerous. If you had a ton of water and a really tiny motor that was just spinning insane, it would eventually heat up and break, but it wouldn't be because of voltage. Just to clarify for you, Greenistan. Queen says, shooting is very relaxing to me. I like the crack of the shot, the flash at the end of the barrel, and the pain in my shoulder as the recoil pushes into it. And I found out butterflies are attracted to the gunpowder. That's cool. Butterflies are attracted to gunpowder? We may start a butterfly habitat in Eternia that just sprinkle gunpowder on the ground and see butterflies just slowly swarm to it and put a big dome over them and being like, this is our butterfly garden with gunpowder in it. That would be interesting. Christoph Berg said, hunting is relaxing, especially in the fields of Carolina. That sounds very cool. I would love to visit the fields of Carolina to see that. Queen says, so while shooting, I get a lot of pretty butterflies landing on the barrel. That's awesome. I imagine that makes for a very relaxing atmosphere for you. Chris said, never had that happen. Queen said, well, I've been hunting. I've never been hunting. I just like shooting. Interesting. Leanna said, I love to hunt. The solitude is so calming. Chris said, it is. Queen said, it's gotten me some pretty cool nicknames. I go shooting with a group of people and the butterflies only land on mine. That's awesome. That's really cool. No, they're not attracted to the gunpowder. They're attracted to you, Queen. They're so hype about you. They're like, you're the one. You're the one that always shows up supporting the butterflies. So they're supporting you. They got your back. They're helping you keep your aim. They're helping you to beat out all the other people you go with. That's really cool. Let me jump in over here real quick to our stream chat. Chris said, and it's nice to enjoy a good stew the day after, containing what you got the day before. That's very cool. Scissorpy said, Winslow grinding, shaking the haters off. You know we are, Scissorpy, and I appreciate you joining in. Also, thank you for referring to me as Winslow. It's interesting. Again, not a lot of people know about the Winslow stuff, so it's cool to see you repping that. How'd you learn about the Winslow channel? Did you learn about that first or this first? Did you come from Jet's channel maybe and found me as Winslow first and then as Emperor AP? Leanna said, so true. Queen said, maybe someday me, Chris, and Leanna, AP if he wants to too, can go hunting together. That sounds very cool. I would love, even if I didn't get to go hunting, hunting's cool, and I would definitely join you guys. But even if I didn't actually get to go hunting, I think just being in the atmosphere would be really fun. And just getting to experience kind of the quietness of that nature. Maybe going on a hike or something too. I haven't been in too many areas in my life that have had a lot of like mountains or a lot of really elevated, really, change in elevation landscapes. So I would be really excited to be a part of that. Chris said, based. Queen said, bruh, fine, you don't gotta go, LOL. No, I think it'd be awesome. Chris said, Carolina dove season is beautiful in Bagon. That's awesome. Leanna said, let's do it, Queen. I haven't been hunting in years and I'm anxious to get back in the woods. Chris said, I said based. Queen said, AP, are you talking about a belt? No, specifically the thing that turns. Like, so you have a motor and then the motor has a thing that spins out, that sticks out of it. It is just the thing that rotates. I want to call it an axle, but that is not the correct term for it. There is a specific term for it, but I cannot think of it at the moment. The belt would be something that's attached to, like, you could have a motor which has a wheel on the end of it, like a gear potentially, or just some wheel with a belt on it that attaches to something else that does work based on that. That's not what I was talking about specifically. The thing that would connect those two would be the belt. Chris says, I haven't been hunting in a while. I generally just been busy. That's fair. Queen said, let's do it then. Greenistan said, fun fact, Greenistan is attracted to war. That's hilarious. And it also makes sense, considering what you posted in the comments before. Chris said, yes, let's do it. State visit. You know it. Queen said, nice. Chris said, Greenistan doesn't sound too peaceful. They don't. They would be the one that comes to the hunting group already shooting. We don't see anything, and they're just ready to go. You could hear them coming. Queen said, nice. Trudeau said, hello, I finally made it, and it's snowing. Multiple things. I am sorry to hear that it's, well, you sound sad about that. I'd be kind of hype about it. Snowing in March, that's not a thing where Eternia is primarily, I should say. So that's cool. I am sorry that you are not enjoying the snow. I imagine if you're somewhere where it snows all the time. So good luck, and I hope you were able to escape your driveway tomorrow. Scissorpy said, I'm Nani. Oh, it's good to see you, Nani. How have you been enjoying this channel? How have you been enjoying the Winslow channel? Trudeau said it's been snowing since November. That's rough. Just constantly every day. Christoph said, I haven't seen snow in years. I've seen snow this year, just not a ton of it. Queen said, I call the ones I see Pablo because the first time it happened, the butterfly flew off my gun and flew in front of the barrel and someone else's and exploded into a white powder like he was trafficking cocaine. Oh, goodness. That's funny, though. Trudeau said, LOL, you're lucky. Chris said, oof, not really. Queen said, haha, haven't seen snow in a while either. That's cool. Chris said, it's hot and sticky here during the summer. Interesting. Trudeau said, why do I have to live in a stupid mountain range? The mountains are beautiful though. Chris said, wish I lived in the mountains. Exactly. I think that's the thing. Anybody who lives in the mountains may be sick of the snow, and everybody who doesn't live in the mountains wants the beautiful landscape. Greenistan says, totally hypothetical, but what would you do considering, what do you consider putting hydroelectric power in your country? We absolutely do want to put hydroelectric power in our country. That's a plan we have actually in place, and I can talk about more in the future. But hydroelectric power, wind power, solar power, we're going to have all types of renewable energy in Eternia, and we're going to be moving forward with that in the future. Right now, we don't have a ton of space to put all that, so we're not trying to develop it for Eternia right now, but once we have our land purchase set up, we will be immediately starting to put up large-scale versions of things like that, that we already have, things figured out for quite a bit. Queen said mountain epic. Richard said it's a pulley. No, I'm gonna Google this, because we're, okay. I am, okay. Spinning part of a motor. Spinning part of a motor. Part one which rotates called the rotor, and one part which doesn't called the stator. With this simple understanding, we can divide any motor into two physical parts. One part which rotates called the rotor, and one part which doesn't called the stator. Okay, perfect. So we are talking about the rotor. The rotor, no matter how much you turn the rotor, should never overvolt your motor, because the stator, the part that is stationary, is the thing that defines how much voltage and how much current your motor generates per turn of your rotor, and vice versa. That also determines in the same way how much current and voltage you have to supply to your stator to turn the rotor one revolution. So that is something that's pretty interesting, something I've learned quite a bit about over the course of my education thus far, and a lot of other cool details about motors and rotors and stators. Okay, so we figured that out. A whole bunch of things. Chris said the wheel that turns the belt. No, not the wheel that turns the belt. The wheel that turns the belt is a pulley. The system that does that is a pulley. Right? It'd be like specifically having one like rope or something attached over a wheel that would help to generate goodness, I should know this as a physics major. The definitional word creates a leverage, creates mechanical leverage for you. Yeah, that would be a pulley, and that's very general. Richard said greetings. Leana. Again, every time I see the name, I just have to try and make the switch a little bit better. Greetings, Truto. Christophsberg says, I'm thinking about sleep, TBH. I understand that completely. I wanted to get a stream out because I'm excited to see you guys and excited to talk, but I definitely understand that it's late. Truto says, greetings. Queen says, hiya, Truto. Christoph says, yeah, we're in the South. We don't have snow often. God save Texas. Christoph said, Jesus, I feel bad for the poor folks. Greenistan says, another fun fact, if Greenistan came hunting, we would not shoot the animals, just the people. Yeah, that makes sense, Greenistan. Queen said, yeah, it's sad. Christoph said, Greenistan is not invited. Greenistan said, why not? Queen said, Greenistan, I challenge you to a duel. He's going to bring a gun. You have a sword. Don't do it. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight, even if it's a really long knife. Christoph Berg says, Aaron Burr is typing. Oh, interesting. True Greenistan says, okay, let me get my bombs. Goodness gracious. Christoph says, I don't want to get shot. Truto says, I can relate to Texas since we had power outages for post-communist power plant. That place is one of the ugliest buildings ever. Goodness. Queen said, no, not a bomb duel. Chris said, not the bombs. Queen said, LOL. Greenistan said, yes, the nukes. And then said, Highguard is here. Hey, I'm glad to see Highguard jumping in. Chris said, no, stay home. Greenistan said, yes. Trudeau said, AP Google's spinning part of a motor is like Google dun 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 to find out the song. Of course, you know it. When you don't know a technical term you've probably been tested on before in your life, Just try to throw it into Google and see what happens. I've gotten weirder things before. I've been looking up a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to like a very specific term in physics. If I don't understand what I'm talking about well enough, that can very easily lead me down a rabbit hole that I just don't understand. Not even that I don't understand. I'll understand a lot of the terminology, but I'll never find the thing that I was specifically looking for. Or if I do, it'll take me a minute sometimes. Um, okay. Chris said no state visits for you. Greenistan said dang it. Chris said peace is an option and it's the best one. Richard. Leanna. I have to get better at it. Excuse me. Darren says if I could build a nuke and I know how, I would. If you know how, why can't? Because like purifying and enriching uranium, you'll just go to jail. You'll just go to jail. Be careful. Don't do that. Is never a benefit to anybody. Greenistan said no war is better. Darren said hey, hello, Darren. How are you? Leanna said ANFO will do for me. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what the acronym is. Trudeau said a bomb duel. Goodness gracious. The Queen says, I want to get a pickup truck, remove the engine and all the stuff in the front with concrete, and then pull a Rolls-Royce World War II plane engine in the bed of the truck. See how fast the truck will go. That seems like it would be hard as far as alignment. One of the big things with engineering both cars and planes is alignment. So when you drive a car, all of the parts of the car have to be evenly balanced so that as, for example, your motor moves its pistons up and down, your car doesn't do that all the time as you're driving. So if you just throw a plane motor in and you're not able to balance the parts equally, distributing the weight and motion within the car, your car will go as you're driving down the road. You'll have forces that go that way and 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 that way when you're trying to drive. So I would recommend being able to very well calculate and balance exactly how you need to place that and modify your truck entire frame to be able to fit that engine in. Good luck. That'd be an incredible amount of work and I would love to see that. Leanna said agreed, Ledger. What did Ledger say? Oh, peace is an option. Agreed. Queen says go. Trudeau said laughs in black hole duel, but spelled whole as in like complete, not whole as in like the cosmological entity. Trudeau is gonna have a black hole duel, a complete duel that's entirely black. Interesting. Queen says also I don't have a sword yet. I do have multiple guns. Chris said my mom's getting me a pickup truck and I think it's the best kind of automobile. It's definitely very useful. There's definitely big pros to it. Queen says I practice enough shooting to win a duel. Greenistan said inhales. Chris said based. Queen says I have a 1997 Ford Mustang. I thought it said mustard at first because there's a D. Darren says but nukes are too expensive. I'll just stick with my magnetic railgun design. In design stage currently. Very cool. Railguns are very cool. Railguns aren't that hard to build, but railguns, the issue with them is that all of your current is supplied by one initial kick, which makes them very, very strong and quickly accelerating if you have a big capacitor bank that you set up with it. But the thing that I would recommend instead is actually not a railgun, but a coil gun. A coil gun does not produce the same amount of intense, quick acceleration that you need to provide a large force to a projectile over the same distance, but can be almost entirely silent. A coil gun would need to be a longer piece of equipment and would probably need to have something to inject the power without the same, a railgun actually just literally makes contact. The projectile you have makes a short between two metal rails, which dumps a lot of current in it and creates the same type of magnetic flux we talked about in a motor that would generate a forward acceleration on the projectile. But if you that all happens in one big shot, one big that happens is this electricity just surges through it. as this high current surges through it and forces it forward. But a coil gun would allow you a much smoother acceleration, which could hopefully reduce the amount of um, damage over longer term use, as well as could make your weapon a lot quieter, your projectile. Hopefully you're not using it as an actual weapon to hurt people, but your projectile could certainly be accelerated a lot quieter and a lot more smoothly, leading to longer usage life for your projectile launcher. Um, um, Chris said, oof. Leanna said, message retracted. Um, Chris says, imagine designing weapons when you can just buy one in America. That's an interesting point. Darren said, duel, I'll bring my flintlock. Yeah. Chris said, I have one of those. They are based. Queen says, yo, it'll be a pimp mobile then, driving around like that. That's very interesting. Chris said, I watched the Grand Tour and Top Gear, so I know about cars. Very cool. Leanna said, ANFO is ammonium nitrate fuel oil. It's a mixture of high nitrate fertilizer and diesel fuel. It makes a really big boom. When you said high nitrate fertilizer, I was like, I imagine it does. Y'all are making little rockets out here. Chris said, I like boom. Trudeau says, yes, only black people duel. It will happen at night so we can sneak around. Goodness. Trudeau said, the lag, and then said, gotta go. See you, Trudeau. Christoph said, oh dear. Queen Marionette said, Trudeau, stop. Christoph Berg said, night Trudeau, racism is bad. Agreed. Let Trudeau know real quick. Racism, goodness. That was an interesting confusion there. Christoph said, unless it's against Irish joke, God save the Queen. Y'all are memeing out here. Darren says, used to make ANFO bombs as a kid in Missouri. I remember. Y'all gotta stop with bombs and weapons. What's up with y'all? What's up with y'all with all the bombs and weapons? Jeez. Why can't y'all just make things for the love of understanding the physics behind it and understanding the applications for plenty of things that can be done without weaponry? Especially because, there are very, very few times in your life where you'll actually need to use a weapon, but there are plenty of times in your life when you need to generate power, for example, or need to launch a projectile for other reasons, such as delivering packages, such as maybe cutting things down, or even trying to insert one type of object into another type of object that may be steel or something. So there's a lot of reasons for projectiles without necessarily weaponry. A lot of stuff. Trudeau said, good morning for me. Gotta go breakfast and I will be back. Good morning, Trudeau, and see ya. Christoph says, same. Queen says, AP, I know you don't believe in micronational war, but do you study the art of war at all? I have read Sun Tzu's Art of War, if that's what you're referring to. I've also read The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. I have read I think there's a book called like On the Nature of War or something like that, or On the Nature of Societies or something like that. There are a number of like philosophically based books I have read on the subjects of war and politics and just governance in general, but they all have very, very different descriptions of what the proper design of something is, because a lot of time they all come from different societies and different time periods. So learning from each of them is interesting in its own right, but learning about them together and understanding the conflicting nature of different theories and why different ones work, I think allow you to create a well-rounded approach for your own situation best, which is quite interesting. Chris said it's 1:35 a.m. It's 12:39 here for me, so I know I'm reading that, I'm sure 4 minutes late, but I am excited to be hanging out with you guys tonight, and thank you for spending time, even though for most of you it's either incredibly late like it is for me or incredibly early like it is for Trudeau. Marina Stan said, yep, total volume Gallons, I'm about to show something even better. Give me 1 minute. Darren says, do you have any idea how expensive radioactive materials are? Free if you can just pull them out of the environment. Everything. You are radioactive. You know what I mean? Radioactivity just means you have a isotope. And isotopes are common. Isotopes are just like the random oopsies. We have too many neutrons of any type of atom. So not super hard depending on what you're looking for. For example, radon. Radon is a radioactive material that people try to get rid of all the time. It's in their basements. When people build basements underground, radon builds up, so you have to keep radon detectors in them and in war bunkers and things like that to ensure that you don't get a buildup of this radioactive material which can harm people. So radioactive material isn't incredibly expensive. Plutonium specifically may be expensive, but again, like, why are you trying to get specifically plutonium? And then even if you are, you can again technically siphon some of it out of the atmosphere and out of the ground where you are. It's just highest contents and concentrations would be in mines that are all around the world. But again, very, very highly regulated substance. You don't need to mess with it. There's so many other things that can do so much. Gray says there's a company that manufactures coil guns for private use. I'm aware there are a ton of groups that do stuff like that. It's quite interesting. Engineering of things like that is a really interesting science, and something I'm personally interested in. Gray, it's good to see you, and I'm excited to have you as a part of the stream. Have you seen my messages on Discord? I'm excited to hear your response to them. Christoph says war is based when it's done like it was before 1800. So rifles, muskets, swords, and I guess bow and arrows and stuff if you go back further enough, and eventually spears. Queen and rocks, Queen says, sup Gray? Gray said, Arc Flash Labs, the name of the company. Still got a whole bunch of comments. Darren says, and U.S. government frowns on such things. Yeah, again, you just need to be doing it for the right reasons. It sounds like the reason that you would be doing it may not be necessarily the right reason, but if you were trying to generate power or something, and you could go through the proper regulatory agencies and let them know what you're doing and show proof of the stability of your project, you can get access to those materials. It's not like it's illegal, it's just heavily restricted access. So, just learn about it and don't try and just make things, because that's also incredibly dangerous. But just, learn what you need to do, and 99.9999999% of the time, you will find that you don't need the material you need, that you think you need. A lot of the time, something much simpler will suffice. Greenistan said, a magnetic road compelled to each other with explosive charge with the center when the explosive charge is detonated theoretically push away both magnets, which are harboring an immense amount of energy, which could possibly result if done properly to the equivalent of a small atomic bomb. But you're saying that based off of an explosive put in between them? I'm curious to see the concept there. That's interesting. I haven't heard that one. That's pretty cool. I would be curious to know more about the specifics of what you're talking about and look at the actual force breakdown, or force diagram of something like that. Leona said, Darren, you should meet one of my cousins. He dropped an M80 in the engine of his Ford Torino. It still had some oil in it. It blew entire front of the car off. Goodness gracious, Leona. Be careful driving around with your cousin who blows up his Ford Torino all the time. Greenistan said, energy, which could possibly, yep. Queen said, no, you shouldn't have muted that ad. I love the Wayne's World ad. Well, ads are ads, even if they're from famed actors and loved celebrities. Christoph said, based, Leona. LMAO, imagine having epilepsy and watching this stream. Is the stream being crazy? Is there like a lot of epilepsy stuff? Goodness. Queen says, don't worry, AP, I don't make just crazy weapons like all of them do. I invent a lot of things. That's very cool. What do you like to invent, Queen? Darren says, if you think paying cargo costs to get satellites into orbit is expensive, just think of how much it would cost for weapons-grade uranium. Cheaper than cargo costs to get satellites into orbit? Much cheaper, actually. You know, like to get a satellite into orbit, millions of dollars. To get weapons-grade uranium, you know, you just have to have a license. You have to be properly licensed. It's still expensive, but again, you don't need it. Like it's not, it's just, you know, if you're trying to create energy or something like that, there are plenty of other isotopes and things. If you're trying to specifically do nuclear energy for some reason, there are plenty of isotopes that can work well at still moderately reasonable energy output values, which can be gained through just filtering through the air, for example. Leanna said, greetings, Gray. Darren said, check out videos on U.S. Navy railguns. Awesome. I have seen them. I've seen the railguns shoot through ships. Also seen the laser videos of them, you know, with an infrared UV laser shooting down, you know, drones and stuff like that. Jackson said, hey, I had to switch accounts. It's good to see you, Jackson. Jackson is Greenistan, if you guys don't know. Trudeau said, I'm back. Good to see you, Trudeau. Leanna said, Darren, United Nuclear has some decent prices. Again, yeah, it's a lot cheaper than launching satellites into orbit. Queen said, in that case, from a psychological standpoint, how do you think a modern force with modern weapons would go up against a force that was ambushed with them with bow and arrows and swords would respond? Ooh. How do you think a modern force with modern weapons was to go up against a force that ambushed them with bows and swords would respond, and what would do to their state of mind? To who? That's the thing. How would an old school army with bows and arrows respond to being attacked with guns? I think they would react by dying and being horribly afraid and not understanding what's happening. I think eventually you would put two and two together that they're using weapons, but you wouldn't know how the weapons worked. I'm sure if you had bows and arrows, you could make a similar connection to the gun that when they do the thing, whatever the thing is, it hurts us and it kills us, and there's like stuff in us that it shoots. So I think they'd be able to put two and two together pretty quickly. I think their plan would probably be to try and get a hold of the guns as quickly as possible. That's what happened, you know, when the country started early manufacturing weapons. You know what I mean? When Cortez went and attacked the Aztecs wanted the guns. You know, when the Mexican-American War happened, when the French and Indian War happened, you know, those people who didn't have the guns wanted guns because they knew what power that had. And they figured they could use them to turn the tide of their wars. Darren said, someday my magnetic grenadier corpse will be the pride of the High Guard Defense Force. Good luck. Queen says, sigh, to think we got here from me saying my form of meditation is shooting. I know, right? It spiraled. Jackson said, hey, AP, I'm gonna do some math for the magnetic bomb. Be back soon. Don't make bombs. Jackson, don't do that. That's not okay. Christoph, I guess you can calculate things, but again, your calculations may not be right. Don't try and build any of it. That's dangerous. Christoph said, anyways, good night, all. Solnit, Christoph, it's good to have you. Queen said, I've designed weapons, planes, household items, building ships, electronics, and quite a few other things. Good night, Chris. Electronics and quite a few other things. What kind of electronics have you designed? I'm interested. Queen said, good night, Chris. Queen said, no, how would the modern force feel? I'm sure very similar to how they feel going up against, how riot police feel going up against riot mobs. You know what I mean? You'd have potentially shields, you'd have potentially, you know, thrown weapons, you would have, you know, melee weapons, and the other, the you know, crowd control force, so to speak, the police force would be imposing, would be pushing and trying to knock back that force, and would probably do it quite successfully if their tactics were anywhere near reasonable. Trudeau says, I love the way AP describes a gun in primitive language. I appreciate it. Queen says, like a modern force is adapted to combat other modern forces, but imagine if they were unexpectedly ambushed by bow and sword and wheel-bearing barbarians that don't care about dying. You could say that they don't care about dying. They would care about dying when they get shot by the hundreds, potentially with like a couple people with guns. They would quickly care about dying. I assure you. Um, it's everybody cares about dying. You can say you don't care about. There's an instant where if you get shot, no matter who you are, you're gonna go, oh no. Your body just has a natural response to the feeling of dying that is, I think, quite horrifying. So I would absolutely say that I'm sure the modern military would be nervous because anyone going into any war situation can die, and some of their members may die. So there would sure be fear, but I think there would be much more of a sense of security and stability on the side of the people with advanced weaponry. Um, Leona said bows and arrows would still work if you add some explosives to them, like Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, see though, that's the thing though. Then they're not primitive anymore. Then they are a modern fighting force with modern weaponry. Jackson says magnet equals trapped energy. Small gunpowder explosion in the magnet could release the trapped energy. You would need very large and powerful magnet, but hypothetically it could work larger and more powerful the magnet, the better. Jackson, the one thing that I would caution you with is the idea of just simply the equivalence principle in physics, which is more simply described as the Newton's, is it Newton's first law? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So your net energy, you have kinetic energy, potential energy. Potential energy is the amount of stored energy something has. Like you're saying, these magnets that are held together have a certain stored energy, right? And then the kinetic energy is something that is acting. So your bomb, your explosion in the middle would be a kinetic energy that would push outward, whereas the potential energy would be inward. So and the potential energy would also be in the amount of potential energy stored in the explosive you have. The kinetic energy would be based on the forces interacting with each other as the explosion goes off. But if you had a force that's pulling these magnets together and an explosion which is pushing them apart, they will cancel each other. They will fight each other, and you will have that push the magnets apart. Your explosion will push the magnets apart, but that may not be very effective for creating a bomb because the magnets will want to pull back together. So there will be a lot of repulsion to your explosion that wouldn't otherwise be there. So I would think just creating a normal explosive would be more effective as an explosive than a explosive that is based around exploding magnets, which are pulling each other closer. Trudeau says because those forces would cancel based on that equivalence principle. Trudeau says, good night, Christoph. Queen says, also my first invention was a hearing aid when I knew about deaf people but didn't realize hearing aids already existed. That's very cool. Congratulations. That's an exciting thought to think about, of thinking of something that is so useful and so exciting, and then realizing that people have that, and knowing that there are people out there who are able to invent that and develop that. And it's cool to think about people who are constantly having the idea in mind of, like you said, trying to develop those things and thinking, how can I make the world better? So it's good that you were on that track and we're working towards something so noble. Darren said, also have a trebuchet in my Amazon basket, but I may save money and just build it myself. That makes sense. Trudeau says, I remember smashing my knee and being like, Jesus, take me. Yeah, absolutely. Queen says, there are actually statics, though, that modern weapons decrease the effectiveness of a soldier because of how, I guess you could say, safe they feel with it. I would say that's hard to, I'm really curious as to how they quantify that, because you could say that the statistic says, for example, that a modern soldier kills less people than a soldier who was fighting with a sword and shield. But that makes a lot of sense because a soldier with a sword and shield has to be up close to other soldiers with other swords and shields, and so you can stab a lot of people very often with your sword and shield. Every individual soldier has a higher likelihood of making a kill. There are plenty of people in the military in the modern day who never kill. One, because their job may not require it, so you have to factor in, are you calculating the entire military and the average kill rate for that military, or are you averaging all of the active duty, actively fighting military forces? And if that's the case, then you have to think about, well, modern soldiers may be miles away from each other, shooting large bombs at each other and shooting, guns, rifles from very far away, or potentially driving in armored vehicles. So most wars nowadays are not fought up close, and therefore your likelihood of killing another person is severely decreased. You are shooting at an enemy that's very far away, and takes a lot of accuracy and a lot of skill to even come close to killing. And many times you won't know if you killed somebody. If you're shooting a bomb at them in a general direction, you may be able to figure out eventually if you killed somebody, but that may take a while and you may not have accurate numbers of that. So I'd be curious as to how that statistic was designed. Trudeau says, I think compulsory draft to the military is a bad idea. Agreed. Darren says, Trudeau, trying to have 2,000-degree Fahrenheit molten aluminum run down your leg, burn into meat of ankle, and performing surgery on yourself to remove it? That sounds horrible. Trudeau says, thinks in Celsius? Yeah, convert it. Do the conversion. That sounds hard. I'm imagining you mean a bullet wound. Darren says it's not as simple as Sheldon and his smoke detectors. Sheldon and his smoke detectors. I'm curious. Are you talking about the nuclear Boy Scout? And if so, it kind of is. Like he didn't do it. He created a lot of radioactivity and hurt himself. The radioactive Boy Scout, but did interact with some radioactive potential. You know what I mean? There was energy in the interactions that happened there. He just incorrectly used the materials he had. So it is as simple as that to create that energy, to release it. The radioactive energy is released all the time by nature of what it's doing. It's actively radiating energy. So harnessing that is not too difficult a task, honestly. Richard says, interesting. So primitive combat skills could still be effective against a modern military, especially in close quarters. One of the simplest ways that people use radioactivity to generate energy is water. You can just put radioactive material in water and it'll heat up the water, which will cause a temperature difference, which you can use to, for example, drive a steam turbine, which generates electricity. Or you could even have connected to a Peltier device, which would generate electricity based on the temperature difference between plates. It's not that crazy hard to actually generate energy with many different types of radioactive material. And it's been tested for all sorts of, radioactive power generation. Multiple things. Queen says, hold up. Richard says, interesting. So primitive combat skills could still be effective against a modern military, especially in close quarters. Absolutely. If you walk into a building and you have a gun, and someone pushes your gun to the side and starts stabbing you with a knife, yeah, sure. But, at the same time, you may have more body armor on. That, the other force may also have body armor on equipped to deal with that. So, yeah, if you, like, that's saying, so if you negate the modern weaponry, then it's effective. Yeah, yep. If you can negate it, if you can stop the benefits that the modern weaponry provides, like being able to attack at long distance so that you decrease the likelihood of any individual being hurt, then yeah, of course it would be effective. You're just negating those bonuses. Queen says, back when muskets were used, there was a statistic that for every kill, there were 2,000 rounds shot were used, but for every kill, the modern combat, on average, they use 250,000. Again, though, the distances are much different. You know what I mean? People in the Civil War, for example, were able to sit on hills that were slightly far, like just slightly away from a battle, and watch a battle take place and watch people die on the battlefield during different battles. Um, in modern war, you can shoot a missile across the world and hit a target with a drone. You know, it's very, very different distances. So I would imagine absolutely more rounds are used because intelligence has a lot to do with it. You know, the distances. There's a lot. I'd be curious as to how you could actually make a really good standardized comparison because it's just a world of difference. Um, uh, Queen says this includes training as well. Queen says yes, indeed, Leona. Um, Darren said by radioactive materials, I referred to weapons grade materials. Again, though, like that. Well, first off, that's just not the definition of like radioactive materials, though, right? Like what I'm trying to explain is that there is just a much wider range than you're speaking of. You don't need to have radioactive materials. You don't need to have weapons grade materials to still have perfectly functional radioactive materials. And also, a weapon just means something you're using to hurt somebody. Any radioactive materials can be considered weapons grade depending on how you define a weapon. But as far as what you're talking about, you know, the standard for that being like weapons grade enrichment for nuclear bombs, yeah, but why do you need that? You know, that's nuclear bombs have been used in war once? Question mark, and everybody kind of agreed not to do that again. So why do you need to do it? You know, the likelihood that you'll ever use your nuclear device in your life would be 0.00000000001%. And even if you did, it wouldn't be like a positive or noble act. It'd just be terrorism. So it'd be interesting. Um, Jackson said you are half right. If you use a large explosion, it would release most of the energy and possibly would vaporize the two magnets before they get close enough. Purely hypothetical, still just a thought. If you use a large explosion, it would release most of the energy and possibly would vaporize the two magnets before they get close enough. Purely hypothetical. I mean, yeah, you just cancel it. Like you're saying, if my bomb has more energy than the magnets pulling close enough to each other, then my bomb would have some. Agreed. But then if you just had the explosion by itself without the magnets, it'd still be more effective than with the magnets. Queen says probably would only work for a small period of time though, because the enemy would learn your tactics and just stay farther away. Yeah, I think that'd be the advantage of the modern military. Leona said, I'm so glad I'm training myself in medieval warfare. Trudeau says, my father was in the 2003 Iraq War and never killed a person. He only threatened someone after they tried to steal ammo. Interesting. Queen said, that's good, lol, plus it's silent. Leona said, right now I'm training in Viking combat. After that, I'm going for a Spartan style. That's cool. Congratulations, Leona. I'm curious to see how that affects not only your like self-defense habits and stuff, but also just exercise regimens in general. Uh, uh, Trudeau said, what if old school army used Greek fire on a modern army? It'd be a war crime. You know what I mean? Like you could do it. That's like, what if I poured gasoline on my enemies and set them on fire? They did that with napalm in the Vietnam War. In the Vietnam War, the U.S. used napalm, which was a sticky substance, which when burned for a very, very long time, and it was a huge war crime. It was a horrific disaster, and that's what would happen. They'd burn alive and it'd be horrible. Queen Marionette says, I like, and you'd never be able to get it off. Says, I like AP's knowledge. I appreciate it. Queen said, AP, care to steer the discussion into a different topic? Yeah, I've been trying to catch up with the comments for so long. Darren said, didn't know about United Nuclear, just added to my research list. Jackson said, AP, could you give the hypothetical diameters of the gutter, like height, width, depth, and I will calculate it? That's a great question. I think it would really depend on what we're doing. I would say we wouldn't be using a gutter at all. We would be making something equivalent to a, like a, I don't want to give too much away, but effectively like a water tower, you know, where water would be collected, stored in a large container, and would then, like your gutter, the same method, would then have a large pipe that would go down and run to potentially a motor or a series of mini motors that would turn in succession and generate electricity. But it would depend on the landscape that we have. You know, what's best. You know, are we using trees as the height? Are we building a structure? You know, what are we going to dig into the ground and use part of it as an above ground system, and part of it is falling down into a below ground system? Um, it all depends on the nature of the landscape that we have once we purchase that land, which is why I haven't, tried to set up those calculations yet. But yes, I will absolutely steer to a different topic, Queen. Jackson said, Leanna said, glad I could help, Darren. Queen said, LMAO, I just remembered I told my boyfriend about me being in the last stream, so he watched it and then he got very upset. He's interested in my Micronation now, though, but I'm still nervous about talking about it with him. I'm sorry he got upset. I hope he's not upset over your interaction with the stream. Um, I hope everything goes well with you too, and I'm glad he is excited about your nation. We're excited about your nation, and are glad to have you as a part of our micronational map. Um, Darren said, well, I may be largely ignorant where internet is concerned, but I can build anything if I put my mind to it and have the monetary resources. Absolutely. And that's a fantastic thing about the internet as a resource, is that if you don't know something, you can learn it and add it to your repertoire, like you said with learning about United Nuclear. It's fantastic. Um, Eskimo said, so much gore. Agreed. And also welcome, Eskimo. It's good to see you. If you don't know, we are a country. We are a micronational YouTube channel. We have been developing a large economic system and some stuff that we've been talking about quite a bit over the last few streams. If you want to get to know us more, you can go to our website at eternianempire.wixsite.com/imperial market, as you can see up here. And as well, if you're interested in learning more about us, you can check out our micronational map. You can see our aristocrat board, where citizens have been participating in our economy. And you can also apply for things like citizenship, being a part of the micronational map, alliance applications, and even being a part of our prestige system, which is our new economic development plan. If you have any questions, please let me know. Leanna said, greetings, Eskimo, because Leanna is always a super friend of the channel and is really supportive of our community. Again, I appreciate you greeting everyone, Leanna. Jackson said, okay, I see what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. We're just trying to make sure that we understand the capabilities of our landscape before we try and design a system that may or may not work most efficiently for it. Darren said, M80s, the more Missouri memories, the Ngambi George Wars. Darren said, really? Damn. Giving me too many crazy ideas, AP. Absolutely. I got you, Darren. It's a positive thing. As well, Darren, I do want to clarify some things. I want to send you an email at some point. I got your email. Imperial notes are a currency. I just want to point that out. They're not like a, they're not like a corporate stock. They're not based around, some decision-making power in the Empire of Eternia. They are specifically a currency, and that's the way that they're used as a fiat currency. Leanna said, seriously, Darren, United Nuclear sells radiological materials as well as numerous chemicals. It's like a one-stop shop for chemists. Absolutely. They're very cool. Jackson said, so Greenistan soon will be installing to gutters to the nation. One last thing. Absolutely. Queen said, no, he got upset. I didn't get to talk very much. He says he doesn't like Dan. I was sorry to hear that. Yeah, Dan was kind of on a roll the other night. Again, I hope we can do a one-on-one conversation very soon. Darren says, I still can't afford it. It's just a poor schlep. Again, you don't need to purchase, radiological materials on the internet. One, because it's sketchy to do so. Like that's got to get you on a list. And two, because radiological materials are everywhere. If you know how to look, you can filter them directly from the atmosphere. If you buy a Geiger counter, you can test that sort of thing very regularly, in fact. Eskimo said, I've been here. I just had a name change. Oh, well, I'm glad to see you. What was your name change? I think I may recognize your image, but maybe not. Queen says, he knew I was very excited about attending the stream, and we saw I didn't get to talk much. He got very upset. I'm sorry to hear about that, but the good news about that is that we will hopefully get that one-on-one talk very, very soon. Queen said, sorry, Eskimo said, I've seen horrible things. I'm sorry to hear that. He said, I'll never be innocent again. We hope you will be. Jackson said, my gutter can hold 74 gallons max. My holding tank can hold 211 gallons. So that's a total of 285 gallons total that could be made into power. It's a lot of water, but I need to take better readings on house to see how many gallons total will flow into the power substation. That's very cool. Congratulations. And also think about your motor. I know their videos, I forget the name of the channel, but their videos do talk about, picking the right type of motor and stuff. So that's a very important thing to discuss. Multiple things. Isaac, you have sent me multiple emails giving a particular video, and I got part of the video at one point, but most of the emails that you've sent me don't have attachments. The one that did have an attachment, like I said, had that part of it, but I'm excited to see the rest of the video. The best way that I've learned to do stuff like that, because sending full videos can sometimes be too much for Gmail to handle. What you can do is upload it to your own personal Google Drive and then share that Google Drive link with me. You can, once you upload it to your Google Drive of any length, I believe, so long as your Google Drive can handle the storage of it, you should be able to share a link, allow anybody with the link to be able to view it, and then send it over my way, and I should be able to download it from there. And then once we get that, we can upload it to the channel and we can get your citizenship going. Trudeau says, wait, are you the guy on our Discord? Queen said, yes, the private talk will be good, and I'm very glad. Eskimo said, yes, can I get a new invite? My Discord was banned. I'm sorry your Discord was banned. I will absolutely check into that. Yes, you can surely get a new invite. Let me see. As well, we have a whole bunch of stuff. Real quick, let me go ahead and create this link and send it out. At least once a stream, we have somebody asking for a link. I am probably just going to start, I think I already have it in most of the descriptions, but just in case, I will send it again now. At a certain point, I'm going to make sure that it's in the description, and I'm going to just be like, just go look in the description. Just click the description. There should be a good link. Let me know if you guys get it as well. I'm actively trying to check in to make sure that everything's set up right, but I'm certain I could miss something. So if you guys see me miss something that I need to set up, like the link, please let me know. Okay, let's see. Let's see what kind of solid pink music we can get into right now. Let's do this one. I like Peace Love. Peace Love is a solid pink song. As well, this is a lot of the music that I would use to actually create my own songs, doing Winslow stuff. I use Pink, I use a few other artists, but Pink is a good one for sure. Again, I hope the link worked and sent. I think it did. If it didn't, please let me know. Let me refresh the chat, see if my link made it in. But again, I'm not certain. Okay. There it is. Okay. Queen said, where Tiff at, Doe? Darren said, like in the comments, what if Conan fought Captain America? Don't take long for Conan to understand police guns as slug throwers. Yeah, exactly. Richard says, Queen, I was wondering the same thing. Oh, where Tiff at? Tiff is asleep at the moment. I actually came to stream. She was laying down asleep. We went to bed at around 10, actually, and Tiff had a long day today, so she's asleep, and I am wanting to go and join her here in a little bit. But I wanted to do my service to you all as citizens of the Empire of Eternia and just of our wonderful community. I wanted to interact with you guys. It helps our watch time. We're always trying to grind toward that watch time. So spending time with you guys is a big part of my day. I don't stream every day, but when I can, it's a big part of my day. And I wanted to be here with you guys. But yes, I will be going and join her and take care of her and love her very, very soon. Queen and Leanna, that's the answer to your question. Jackson says, I'll work on it. In fact, I'll go right now. Goodbye, fellow comrades. Goodbye, Jackson. It was good to see you, and I am excited for you to work on your power substation. Queen says, LOL, glad someone's thinking like me. Queen said, bye-bye, Jack. Richard said, goodnight, Jackson. Oh, goodness. If Jackson jumps back in, Jackson, instead of doing what they do in the video, they run their, the whole thing that they're trying to do in the video series he's talking about power generation, they're trying to charge a phone. They're like, can we make it enough to where we can charge our phone? And basically the answer is like, with the amount of water you're dealing with, kinda, because they're collecting rainwater, which is a smart thing to do. But when you're collecting rainwater over the size of, a roof, that's limited. So they were able to run and charging for a phone just very minimally at a very, very low amperage. What I would recommend is saving your energy in a large capacitor bank or battery bank. There are power walls you can make, but there are also just lithium-ion battery packs that you can build yourself to store energy. And you could store energy over, say, a month in a lithium-ion battery pack, and then use the battery pack to charge a phone or whatever you wanted to. Run a hair dryer if you had an AC converter. There's a lot you could do with that. Everybody say goodnight to Jackson. Darren said, right now my weapons collection is humble. I'm sorry to hear that, but the good news is it is still there. And if you enjoy weapons and you enjoy, collecting things like that, that's a cool way to move forward and to learn more about them. Real quick, I am going to actually hop on our YouTube because I want to check in on our statistics. I know here in not too long, I am going to be jumping off as well. But for the moment, I am super excited to be showing off to you guys just how much progress we're making, and to tell you guys, be hype about us releasing more stuff out onto the site very, very quickly. One of the biggest things that we're going to be, oh goodness, wrong YouTube account.